Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel Lessons at Fingertips. Here we are going to discuss on some important topics in really simple words so that it's easier for you all to understand and keep things in mind. So today my topic of discussion is going to be public goods and private goods. Well, what do you understand by the term public goods? The goods that are provided by the government to all of us, isn't it? So the first characteristics of this public good is that you do not need to pay price for availing the good, isn't it? And also it's available in abundance. It's available for all. So it also has the characteristics of non-rivalry. So the first thing is when you do not need to pay the price for the commodity, that means what? No one is going to tell you no for the commodity. Like no one can refuse you, can tell you that you cannot use the commodity. Okay? Because it is available to all. So that is the property of non-excludability. So pure public good or service is the one that can be consumed by everyone simultaneously and no one can be excluded from using it. Understanding? So the pure public good or service is the one that can be consumed by everyone simultaneously and no one can be excluded from using it. Next, what we are saying that therefore a pure public good is the one whose consumption is non-excludable. Excludability is not present in pure public good. Why? Because you do not have to pay price for using the pure public good. So, the consumption is what? Non-excludable and non-rival to all. Understood? So the consumption is non-excludable and non-rival. Main characteristic of pure public good. Why is it called pure public good? I will come to that point later, that what is pure public good and public good. You also need to understand that, but I will be coming to that later. So it is impossible to exclude a consumer from using it, isn't it? The goods, the pure public goods are non-excludable and non-rival. So it's not possible to exclude a consumer from using it. For everyone it is available. It is available equally for everyone. This is the reason why a pure public good possesses the problem of free rider. What is free rider? The name itself states without paying a price you are given a ride. You are taking a free ride. So what is this problem of free rider? That the willingness to pay for the commodities are zero. The individuals are not willing to pay for the commodity. Anyone and everyone can use it without paying a single penny for it. So what is they saying? As the pure public goods are non-rival and non-excludable, so when they are made available in the market, it's available to all and you can use it as much you want. No one is going to ask you or tell you that how much have you used. You see the public parks having swings over there. You can go anytime, go on the swings, you can have fun. No one will stop you, isn't it? But if you go to Science City and you take the rides, you will have to pay for that, isn't it? And they will say that you are going to get this ride 10 times only or 5 times only, isn't it, with this money? Not more than that. If you go to the public parks, is there anything like that? No. You can just avail the services as much time you want. So there is the problem of free rider. Anyone and everyone can come and avail the services as many times as they want. That is why the public goods are even, whatever the public goods are there, it's destroyed anyhow. Because people make so much of use of it. So that is the problem of free rider. So an individual can adhere its services without even paying for it. You can take the services of the pure public good without even paying a single penny for it. This is called as the problem of free rider. Clearly here the willingness to pay is zero. Willingness to pay for the public good is zero. In case of public good, the aggregate demand cannot be determined. Now, here comes a very important point. What is the case for private good? In case of the private good, we have what? Excludability and rivalry. You need to pay the price of a particular product, then only you can avail the services, isn't it? And there is rivalry because lot of people are there who are willing to make the payment for that particular good. So there is excludability and rivalry. Now here, in case of private good, you can understand what is the demand, what is the individual demand in the market, isn't it? And you can find out the aggregate demand. How? Like if this is the I am showing it here. If this person is having this much of demand, another person is having like this elastic demand, isn't it? From here, if we do the vertical summation, if we do the, what it will be the market demand, if I am doing the vertical summation here and here, isn't it? So it's somewhat like this. So this is the market demand. So I am getting the market demand curve, isn't it? The aggregate of the individual demand. And why I am getting the individual demand? Because here the persons are ready to pay a price for the certain commodity. But in public good, the person is not paying anything. It's paying what? Zero. It's not ready to pay anything. Willingness to pay is zero. So if they are not paying anything, how are you going to get the demand curve? How will you understand the utility? The preference of each and every individual is hidden in case of public good. In case of private good, you can understand the preference, how much a person is willing to pay. More he is willing to pay, that means more is the utility for that person, isn't it? So what is happening here is that in case of the public good, you do not know how much a person is willing to pay, what is the willingness, what is the preference, isn't it? So here, in case of public good, the aggregate demand, we cannot find an aggregate demand. The aggregate demand cannot be determined by the vertical summation or usual summation. Usually how we find it out, as the preferences are not revealed by the consumers and are only assumed as per the use. So when a park is made in a locality and everyone is not actually showing their preferences, but after some time, maybe a month or 2 months, then you see the use of the park, you will go and you will understand how much the park has been used, and you will understand that you will get to understand what is the preference of the people of this park towards this park in this particular locality, isn't it? This is how you can understand. Otherwise, people do not disclose their preference. And how will they disclose their preference? In terms of economics, by paying the price of the commodity. Now, if the willingness to pay is zero, means what? The preference is zero, but it's not happening like that, isn't it? They are not willing to pay. Why? Because it's available for free, isn't it? So that is the problem. So here, in case of public good, we cannot understand the aggregate demand that is prevailing in the market, as the willingness to pay for the commodity is zero. So I hope you have understood till here what is the basic difference between public good and private good. Public good are non-excludable, non-rival. Private goods are excludable and rival. In public good, you do not get the aggregate demand, get to see the aggregate demand or the total demand, isn't it? But in private good, you can see the aggregate demand or total demand. Why? Because there is the willingness to pay. More is the preference, more is the willingness to pay. But in case of the public good, no willingness to pay. The willingness to pay is zero, which implies that the preference is zero. But actually that doesn't happen, isn't it? So I hope you have understood this slide. Next, we will move on to the next slide, okay? See what it is saying. The public good can be of two types. One is what? Pure public good. One is impure public good. What is termed as the pure public good? When the two characteristics of the public good, that is non-excludability and non-rivalry, are maintained perfectly, then we call it as pure public good. If it is satisfied to some extent, then we call it impure public good. So see here, pure public good is the one that are perfectly non-rivalrous in consumption and non-excludable, isn't it? Now impure public good is the one which satisfies the two conditions onto some extent, not fully. For example, you see the road, okay, a particular car is going. What does non-rivalrous mean? that when one unit is used by a consumer, doesn't reduce the availability of that same commodity for some other consumer. So when one particular car is going on the road, is running on the road, doesn't reduce the availability for some other car, isn't it? So it's non-rivalrous, and you did not have to pay for going on the road, for traveling on the road. So that is non-excludable. But during rush hour, on that particular road, if a extra car is added, it reduces the availability of space for the other car. So that means what? It does satisfy the non-rivalrous characteristic or the non-excludable characteristic, but not fully. So that time it becomes what? Impure public good. Trying to understand. So that is the thing. Now in pure public good, what happens? We know that in public good there is a problem of free rider, right? Without even paying, the consumers are availing the services. Now in case of the pure public good, which totally satisfies the characteristics, if the consumer, too many consumer decides to ride free, what will happen? The private benefit, the private cost to the producers will exceed the private benefit, and when that happens, the incentive of the producer to produce the good will vanish. Understand it? So now next let us move on to the important portion, is that now in case of public good, what is it? In case of the private good, what we see that it is the horizontal summation of the individual demand curve, isn't it? It is the horizontal summation. How do you get the market demand curve? By horizontal summation of the individual demand curve. But in case of the public good, it's not the horizontal summation but the vertical summation. That is, what happens is that is the in case of the private good is the horizontal summation of individual demand curve, but in case of the public good it is summed vertically. As a result, the market gives the price that the society is willing to pay. Okay, but is it done in terms of price? No, it's done in terms of benefit. The demand curve here is the marginal benefit that a particular consumer individual is getting from using the public good. And what is the supply curve? It's the marginal cost that the producer has to incur. Until when the producer is going to provide the public good? Till the position where marginal benefit is equals to marginal cost. Okay, so this was basically all about public goods and private good. I have also discussed about the basic difference about the pure public good and impure public good. So I hope you guys have liked this video. In my next video, I am going to bring the cost benefit analysis theory, okay, in details. Here if I try to explain that, then the video is going to be like very long. So I will make a new video on the cost benefit analysis. I hope you guys have liked this video. Please do hit a like and subscribe to my channel. Share with your friends. Guys, it's for free. Okay, so till then, bye bye.